And we are live. Good evening, everyone. I have my best bud. I've got Denise Jordan over from Homemaking with Denise, and I'm Leona Dooley from Ebony, Ivy, and Time. And tonight we are working through our homes, and we are trying to help our young home cooks and seasoned home cooks and homemakers get through this tight time. Now, there are a couple of things that we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about navigating our shopping habits, and we're doing it in real time, today's world. And there's a couple of things that, if you will, put in your okay, be sure to let us know in the chat what you do when you find that your favorite brand of cereal, bag of coffee, or even a tank of gas has a price increase. Denise, have you all been experiencing the ups and the downs and the ups and the downs of gas?
The gas hasn't been too bad. Now, a couple of times it went up and then it went back down. I asked my husband, I said, why is gas up? Did it have been down? But what I've seen more so is the price of food. And one of the ups and downs we've been talking about for the past month is the price of eggs. So the price of eggs has gotten so outrageous, and we've talked about it so much, we don't even talk about it anymore. We just buy them. We just don't say anything about it. We just pick them up and keep them moving.
I know, and that's a blessing that we're able to do that. But I think about those people who have lost jobs, or their jobs are on hold until things get moving again. We are certainly in a situation, and it's bad enough for the eggs to be extremely high and other products to be extremely high when you go in the grocery store. But then when your gas tank takes $50 to fill it up,
yeah,
whoo, that is a hit on the budget. So we're going to talk about, first of all, why, the big why. And, sometimes I know it's particularly, and I'll say this particularly with gas, I know sometimes, you'll see a couple of pennies here, a couple of nickels here in your gas changes or whatever it is that you're purchasing. Well, when it's just a couple of pennies, then you don't mind. But oh my goodness, when it starts to get crazy, then that's a problem, and it's attacked our budget. We're also, we're going to bring you the rough stuff at the beginning, but then we're also going, because we're about solutions and trying to find solutions to the problem. So we're going to talk about how to creatively and cautiously offer some practical tips for making your budget go further in these challenging times. So I see the chat is jumping, and welcome to Life of a Home Cook. As I said, I'm Leona Dooley. My channel is Ebony, Ivy, and Time with Leona. And my sister by another mister, I have Denise Jordan here from Homemaking with Denise. And the fun thing is that we started off the year, and we were kind of tag teaming because we'd been doing that all through November and December. And then we got to January, and it's like, well, it feels weird not having the other person there on Wednesday night. So on next Wednesday, of course, it's going to be Homemaking with Denise. And of course, this week we're Life of a Home Cook. And we are so glad that all of you are here. Now, just to let you know that if you're new to our channels and you just happen to drop by tonight, then I hope you will certainly, first of all, give both of us a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to our channels. I have put Denise's channel information down in the description box for you to be able to go there and to make sure that you subscribe to her, as well as, if you're not a member of our family, then certainly please subscribe to us and also give us that thumbs up. Now, how's Apron Diva doing?
You know what? We're doing great. We have a few things left in the shop from winter.
Mhm.
And we're about to bump up our Pretty and Practical collection. So we've got our Beatrice or our Be Kind apron. We've got that back in stock. We've got our Libby Lemon back in stock. And then we've got
Oh.
a couple others we're going to order in for Mother's Day. So we'll have some new things to share pretty soon.
Oh, I can't wait. I have a weak spot for aprons. And
I do too.
when I want an apron, I'm gonna come to Apron Diva. Now, let me tell you, last week I went to the grocery store and I tried to follow what I've been telling everyone. I went to the grocery store with cash. Didn't I was determined I was not going to take out the credit card. So I went to the grocery with cash. I also went with a plan, a meal plan, and a grocery list. I had shopped the house, done all those good things. But the thing of it is, I picked up as I was going, and most of the time, I usually have a little tally that I run so that I know exactly how much is in the basket. But I thought, just for the sake of the family, I thought I would pick up the normal things that I would purchase. Well, I got to a few things that I was comparison shopping. I thought, okay, I'm going to get the store brand, and rather than getting the usual brand. Well, I knew they were more costly, and I didn't tabulate. But let me tell you, when I got to the checkout, oh my goodness, there was such a difference. And remember, I'd taken cash. I had that $100, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm good. I can cover this. It was over the 100. So I had to go back in the purse and pull out the plastic to finish it up. And only because I was too embarrassed to start putting things back. Plus, there was a line behind me, so I didn't want to really tie her up. But I thought, oh, this is not good. If I'm buying store brands, I'm purchasing only what I need, and I'm still going over my projected amount. There's a problem.
Well, today I went to Aldi and I'm working on a new series of my $30 budgets. And I was only going to spend $30. And I had talked to one of the store managers earlier that I was trying to do this $30 thing. So she's used to me coming in there. So I put the things up on the counter and I, kind of tried to pare it way down with what I really needed to purchase. And it came out to exactly $30. She says, well, you're at $30. I mean, like on the nose. She said, yep, you're at $30 on the nose. So, so that worked out. Now, there were some things that I was going to pick up for my husband or for the cat or something like that wasn't on the budget.
Mm-hmm.
And I went ahead and got those things as well. But what I did was I opened a cart at Kroger. And I looked at, I put in there the things that I wanted to buy. So I had a general idea of about how much it was going to cost at Kroger. And it was like $35 or $38. So I started taking things out of the cart or I got to Aldi so that I knew by the time I got there, okay, this is all you can get. And there was one of the things that I needed to buy that they didn't have. So I might have to go elsewhere to get that. And that's the one thing about Aldi is that they will have a great collection of things, but since they're a small shop, they don't have everything that you might find like at Kroger or Walmart. So, but you can find most things that you need there. So that was what worked for me today.
Yeah, I tell you what, well, I have decided that I think when I have certainly, and normally I do, but I've been out of town. And so I was coming back in, had time to do all the researching and, trying to do that. And I thought, I'll be good for this week. Well, not. That didn't work out. Well, we have Luann with us. Aloha from Hawaii. We're so glad to have you here tonight. We have my blessed nest. That she is in the chat. We're so glad you're here. We have Hazel. Hello, Hazel. Got Deb Whitmore here. And
Deb.
He said lots of bad storms are popping up evidently in her area as
Thank you.
well. Yeah. Judy's with us. We're so glad you're here, Judy. Luann says she's thankful she has money to purchase and pick up those eggs. And she picks up an item of eggs for her neighbor. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice?
Yeah,
You know what, Luann? That is amazing.
very
That's
nice.
something that's, and paying it forward sideways since it's your neighbor. But
I can only imagine the price of eggs in Hawaii, though.
oh, I know, because everything in Hawaii is expensive. Oh, goodness. We got Ann with us tonight. Hello, Ann. So glad to see you. Michelle is here with us. Hello, hello. Um, my blessed nest said that one thing that she's done to save on eggs is to buy in bulk at Sam's. And she's also purchased them from a coworker of her husband that has his own chickens. Hey, that's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
Absolutely. We tried looking for some of the local farmers and to see what they were offering at this point. And I think in our area, it's still just a little bit early. And but I can't wait until they're ready to go. Cynthia, we're glad to have you. She said she made a list of every cheap thing she liked to eat. And then she had to cross things off like quiche and omelets because eggs are so high now. You are absolutely right.
Well, though, the things you could consider doing, especially with eggs, you can add milk or cream and increase the amount. So you can make the quiche or make those omelets and add a pancake mix to the omelets or a little bit of milk to the mixture for the quiche and still have that. And quiche will serve anywhere from 4 to 6 people. So if it's just you and your boo, you got several pieces. If it is just you got enough for several days. So don't completely rule it out.
No, don't throw it out.
And let me just say real quick, Leona. Guys, I'm trying to run away from a cold. It's trying to catch me. So that's why my voice is so scratchy. I've got some throat coat tea here. So if I sound a little indelicate because I keep trying to clear my throat.
Well, Denise, we know that y'all know that Denise would be right here with us, and I hope she's able to make it through the night. I know it's tough when you're coughing and you're just not quite 100%.
Yes.
Java Mom, good evening. She says she's new to Denise's channel. Oh,
hey,
thank you. And she's going to subscribe to mine. I am so glad you're here with us.
Yes. My channel. We're trying to get Ms Leona to 5,000 subscribers. So please,
yes,
if you haven't joined her family, do so quickly.
Absolutely. We've got Florence here with us tonight. Hey, we're glad you're here tonight. We also have Ella Bester, who's with us. Hazel Jones, she's here with us. Got Frank Jackson here. Hello,
Hey,
Frank.
Florence,
good to see you. Glad you're here. Ella said her oldest daughter is Denise.
A name twin.
How about that? How about that? Let's see. Amy said she used her Kroger app at Aldi the same way Denise did. And sometimes Kroger is cheaper, but she doesn't know until she walks in Aldi's and checks the prices. So that's probably true, unless you have a chance to just sit down at a computer and just kind of spend time doing those kind of things. Now, I'm going to stop here. We're going to kind of get into what we're doing tonight. I'll come back and get to talk to everyone. Now, we want to talk about some of the significant things that are going on right now that are affecting our food cost, our clothing cost. It's affecting everything. And, we have a lot of building that's going on around us where we're located. And it's affecting the building cost as well, because I've noticed that they have slowed down tremendously. And I think supply and demand certainly has a lot to do with that, as well as money is an issue. So let's talk about, first of all, one of the primary drivers of our high bills when we're shopping is just our global supply chain. You
Yes.
know, we are looking at, when you think about wheat, think of all the things that we have in our kitchen that are kind of wheat based. And the top 10 wheat producing countries are places like China, India, Russia, and the United States. And so when we have a drought or fire, because fires have been big, and droughts have certainly been an issue. It's so weird how in some places we'll have a terrible drought, and then all of a sudden they will have so much rain that it just about washes them out.
Mhm.
But that's tough for a farmer who's trying to grow a crop, and especially a crop that the country is dependent upon. And so all of those products are affected. It
Well,
drives the.
here's the other thing, though, too, Leon.
Mhm,
When you talk about that,
mhm,
those countries that produce wheat, when they start having those global or those weather-related incidents,
mhm.
the first thing they're going to do is conserve wheat for their community, for their.
That's right.
So that means they're going to ship less or export less wheat to us.
That's true. That's true.
Mm.
And certainly we have been having some unusual weather. And, I think of those who were over, it was in was it Thailand who had the earthquake? Uh, Myanmar. They had the 7.7 earthquake. And so those people have been affected. So, as we think about ourselves, we are certainly blessed. And we certainly have people who are under our voice even tonight, who have had extreme weather conditions. Tennessee has had issues. North Carolina has had issues. Texas has had issues. Lord have mercy. We just keep adding states. And so it's something to uh, try to find a good balance. And certainly we're at the whim of the weather and the
Yes.
weather conditions. So that has certainly been an issue. So that drives up the prices for breads, your pastas, your cereals, all of those things. So that comes over in my area. It's time for us to at least attempt to start making our breads so
Mhm.
that we're not dependent upon the bread that is in the grocery. And certainly, bread is not one of those things that you can buy some in advance and freeze it, but that's going to take up quite a bit of space in your freezer for other things.
Mhm.
So bake a loaf of bread, have it for your family, and try to save a little money in that respect. It does
Yeah.
take a little time. Second, we're dealing with the cost of energy. Did you? We got a notice saying that our energy bills are going up next month.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. There's going to
I
be a.
don't know whether we did or not because I haven't been checking the bills lately, but if yours are going up, ours are probably going up too.
Yeah. Well, last month, I can tell you, last month was the highest bill that we have had in quite a while. And I went, oh, oh. So I actually went back and looked at the numbers to see, if I was just thinking, because
Mhm.
typically, particularly electricity, typically it's high around the holidays or
Mhm.
just after the holiday, but not usually into spring. Bills are starting to come down a little bit. Well, the cost of energy is up. And so that causes a significant problem in food production and distribution because not only are we having to pay higher
Mhm.
electric bills and gas bills and whatever it may be, but the manufacturers are having to pay those higher prices as well. And it also, when we talk about the fuel, we are experiencing higher gas costs. And so because of that, the distribution and the trucks, of course, are paying higher fuel prices as well.
And they pass those prices right along to us.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're going to pay them. We're going to pick them up. And so our refrigerated foods are going to be, are going to show the higher cost. Now, for you who are in the chat, have you noticed, and this was something Denise and I were talking about just before we got on tonight, have you noticed that the packaging of the things that you're buying have shrunk since your last visit to the grocery store? If you're like me, I'm a monthly shopper. So when I go from month to month, I can really see those types of changes. Whereas if you go weekly, it might slide back past you just a little bit. What do you think, Denise? Have you seen some changes?
Oh, definitely, definitely. You pick up a package and there's less in it. So either the bag is the same size, but it's only half full this time, or the package itself is smaller.
Oh,
So I think you called it shrinkification.
shrinkification. That's the word that is being called. Now, I popped over Luann because we were talking about Hawaii, and
Mhm.
she said right now it's $10.99 for a dozen eggs. So I don't know, Luann, you'll have to let us know what your eggs normally run, because I know Hawaii tends to have a little higher price than what we do just because of the transportation issues, the distribution. But, we're looking at some eggs that are going for, I know your nicer eggs, things like eggs, Eggland, your organic eggs.
Mhm.
Some of ours are running $15. Yeah.
Those I won't be buying.
Uh,
I'm trying, when I go shopping, I try to just say, okay, do what you can do, but don't get bent out of shape over the price of eggs, and either buy them or don't buy them. Now, I've got about 3 dozen in the freezer,
mhm.
and then I've been buying fresh lately. And my husband's been making eggs for breakfast. He'll make 2 or 3 eggs for breakfast, 2 for himself and 1 for me, and bacon and all this.
Mhm.
But I'm like, look, you can't be having eggs every day. So some days he'll just have to have some oatmeal, or
Mhm.
maybe he'll have a smoothie or something like that. But I've just decided that if I have to buy eggs, I'll buy the eggs, but I'll be more judicious about how I use them.
That's
Because
true.
when I figured out, even if you buy those powdered dried eggs,
Mhm.
heck, they cost more to use that than it does to use real eggs. So
I
I'm not
know.
spending money with the powdered eggs. The only thing with them is that if you can't find eggs at all,
Mhm.
then you have that to fall back on.
Yeah, and that is nice. So if you're trying to looking to store and to put things away in your pantry, it's kind of like having the instant potatoes, and
Mhm.
and you were able to have those powdered eggs for those emergency times.
Mhm.
But no, I'll just have to pay for the eggs, but I'm not paying for the expensive ones. Now, Hazel said that one of her local farmers came to her workplace to offer them eggs at a great price. So she took the opportunity and picked up some. Not only did you save yourself, but you also helped him out, because I really think farmers are feeling the blunt of so much of the problems that we're having. Because I was listening to a farmer that was on the radio, and he was talking, and he said the cost of seeds even have gone up drastically. So they're starting to go through the same things that we're going through, and seeing a lot of the changes. So Ola said she wished she had more grocery store choices, and she has HEB,
Oh,
has the market there.
you must be in Texas, because Mary talks about that place,
Mhm,
HEB.
mhm.
Well, check out Luann's. Luann has another one.
Okay. Okay. Oh, 10.99 is from the commissary. Just on the regular economy is 13.99.
The
Okay.
commissary
Okay.
is probably the naval base.
Right. Right. So that work, that's understandable. And typically, I know I have a friend who they're Navy, and she'll go to the commissary and come back with great prices. Whereas in the regular grocery store, she's having to pay what everybody else is paying.
Check out Hazel G.
Okay.
It's right above Luann.
Oh, okay. Hazel said, yes, her cereal she buys has gone from 15 ounces to 11.5 at the same price. Oh, doesn't that just annoy you?
Gratification.
Oh my goodness. Luann said the gallon of milk is $12.99. Whew. Oh
Wow.
my goodness. If you have small babies and need milk, then I know I've got a friend, she goes through probably a gallon of milk a day
Mhm.
and with her children. And so because of that, can you imagine? Oh, that's a tough one. Duncan, party of six. Hello, Tam. We're glad you're here. She said she shopped at the commissary today as well. It's a little further from her house, but it was well worth the drive. Well, you know what? We have to do what we have to do. Look who's here. We've got Dee
Hey,
with us.
Dee.
Hey. She said now her eggs are $11.99 at the commissary in the Bay Area. And so that's just, you're over on the west. So you can see that that's almost a $2 difference. Well, no, that's about $1 difference
Mhm.
between she and the Hawaii location. Susie's saying that she gets farm fresh eggs from her neighbor at $3. Oh, wow. And Aldi near her has a dozen for $5.95. And sometimes she thinks that if one person raises the price, the others follow. And they get, they manage to get away with that. And there's not a thing we can do about it. That's the unfortunate thing.
Well,
We
the thing
eat.
about a farmer, though, is that they have these eggs and they have to find a market for them. So
Mhm.
because they got to feed those chickens, whether they sell those eggs or not, so they can sell those eggs for a little bit cheaper. Then maybe you can get them at Kroger or somewhere like that. So, yeah, okay.
So Cynthia said that at Aldi's tonight they were $4.97. So they're bouncing around with the prices, but I'm hoping that we eventually we will be able to, whatever our new normal is going to be, we'll be able to find it and adjust to it.
I didn't even look at eggs when I went in there today. I didn't need any, so I thought I'm not going to raise my blood pressure. I didn't bother to look.
I hear you. Now, the third thing is that we as consumers, we're trying to become more health conscious. All of us. Oh my gosh, we have been talking about health and eating better and doing all those kind of things on both of our channels. And it's unfortunate that on the East Coast, I know, and probably a little bit Midwest, I know in Kentucky, that the organic and the non-GMO products have soared. Those prices have just gone through the roof. And so our organic, I know on our end of town, tends to be extremely high all the time. But it was funny because when we went to California, the organics and everything is pretty much all the same. There's not really a difference in the price. And so I kind of appreciated that because then you could really make a choice as to whether or not you wanted to eat organic or whether you just chose to eat just regular food. But, as we are still trying to keep that healthy meal on the table for our family, sometimes our pocketbook may get in the way.
Yes.
It may be that we may not be able to pick the organic. So just like we were talking about the Eggland's eggs and the organic brown eggs, it may be that we may just have to buy eggs
Mhm.
at a better price and go with that. Another thing that has been affecting, and this was something we hit on a little earlier, are the extreme weather events.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. hurricanes, floods. In some cases, I can't remember who it was not too long ago, had an earthquake. Now, fortunately, in our area, they had the earthquake, but it wasn't as damaging as the one that was in Asia. Now, but all of these floods and hurricanes devastate the crops. They change the landscape so that the farmers are having to almost start from scratch. And so many times, even their farmland changes, their homes sometimes are destroyed. And I don't know about you all, but I know I am an orange person. I love oranges. And I can remember back to several hurricanes ago in Florida, where the entire orange population just seemed like it was wiped out. And it certainly diminished the amount of orange production. And so when you have, and at this point, and I really did look it up to see 5 consecutive orange growing seasons have been affected by weather events. And so it's done 2 things. It's lessened the amount of oranges that are available.
Mhm.
And of course, if you lessen the amount of oranges that's going to be available, you know what's going to happen with the price.
Go up.
It's going to go up. Orange juice was through the roof, and as well as oranges. And sometimes it affects the taste a little bit. They may not be as sweet as what we'd like. Now, Denise, you know, I think you like orange juice, or your hubby likes orange juice.
Yeah, he likes orange juice quite a bit. And I did check prices on orange juice today because I knew this was a question that was going to come up. And the price for orange juice at Kroger, we like the Simply Orange.
Mm-hmm.
It was $4.99 for the 52-ounce bottle. And then the Kroger OJ from concentrate was $4.49 for about the same amount.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was some kind of a deal that I could get with my Kroger card that you could get $2 off, or you could earn $2 with a qualifying refrigerated juice purchase, which meant you had to buy some other juices, and then you could earn $2. It would go into your Kroger account, like for your Kroger card. Then I guess the next time you shop, it would be in there, and then you could use that. So you have to have your shopping card to take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then, of course, those little cuties and citrus fruits, all of those things are all affected.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Clementines, all of those are affected. But when you asked about like recent purchases that I've made, like I said, the what I've seen significantly go up in price is meat, particularly chicken and beef. And one of the things that I've been doing is I just haven't been buying a lot of beef. I've been buying chicken because it's more cost effective.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once I bought some pork, but
Mm-hmm.
for the most part right now, I'm just buying chicken. So when I do my new series, it's going to be on chicken. And then produce has also, I've seen an increase there. Now, when you think about it, it's only been a couple of cents here, a few cents there, maybe cabbage 99 cents at one store, 79 or 89 cents at another right now. But if those new tariffs go into effect in the next few days, that may be different. So produce, and here's the other thing. You don't always notice that increase in price until you get to checkout.
That's true.
You pick them up and you say, oh, it's just 99 cents. Oh, it's just 78 cents. But by the time you put them in there, 2 cents here, a nickel there, 25 cents or $1 here and there, it all adds up. The other thing that I've really seen a significant price increase is coffee.
Oh.
Not only has weather been a problem, but there's also a coffee disease that's going on. And I looked it up to see if I can remember the name of it. And it's some kind of a coffee leaf rust or coffee berry disease. And it damages the coffee plant in some way. So it yields less coffee. So coffee prices are up. So now, like I tend to buy the Starbucks K-cups. 12, there's 10 cups in a box. The last time I bought them was $9.99 for a box of 10. Well, that's $1 a cup.
Yeah.
And sometimes Kroger will have them on sale, but it
Hmm.
used to be you could get them on sale for $5.99. Now the sale might be $7.99 or $8.99, and it's just 10 cups in them. I
Hmm.
have tried some of the other coffees, and like the Pete's coffee or some of the
Hmm.
others, like
Hmm.
12 pods in the cup
Hmm.
box instead of 10. But coffee has significantly gone up. Even the freeze dried, that
Hmm.
coffee thing, that has gone up as well. And then the other biggie, butter.
Oh, yes.
Crazy. So if you think back to Thanksgiving and Christmas, you might have been able to find butter on sale for like maybe $3 or $4. Well,
Hmm.
butter is back up now, and it's not as cheap as it was. I did
No.
have a coupon once. I was looking at one of my old receipts, and I was able to get butter for $2.49 a carton, and I
Hmm.
bought 6 cartons because it was $2 off. So I bought 6 cartons, and it was holiday time. So one
Right.
of the tips that we want to leave with you guys is certain times of the year, certain things will be on sale, and holiday time, you're gonna find your carnation milk, you're gonna find your butter, and a lot of your baking things on sale. So plan
Mhm.
ahead and set aside some money that you can stock up there. And I was listening to Cassandra at Becoming a Farm Girl. Now, she always gives you what's on sale at what time of the year,
Yep.
on her show, and says, okay, so I pick these up now. I thought I'm going to start paying attention to Girlfriend a lot more often.
You know it too. You know it too. And you are absolutely right about that coffee. And shrinkification has gotten into the coffee because now I normally buy Javalier. That's what the big
Mhm.
guy likes.
I like that.
And I'm able to get that larger package. And the last time I got it was like maybe $12.99 for the big one. And so I put it in I had put that same size in the cart. I typically get two. And when I got it, I looked, it was half the size. Half. I mean, to the point of where you went, where's the rest of the coffee?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And for the same price.
Same price.
I was floored, absolutely floored. So I see Hazel over here. Hazel's over here saying, "Oh no, not my coffee." But she buys the ground coffee on sale when she can get it. That's what I do. But you're absolutely right about stocking up at holidays because back toward November, between November and December before Christmas, Miss Denise and I had been talking to you about certain things that we were buying and we said to buy plenty because the prices were going to change. So I bought extra sugar, bought extra flour, bought, I was like you, I have almost a whole wall in my freezer of butter.
Mm-hmm,
And I stocked up on butter, and I'm so glad I did because the cost is just horrible at this point for
mm-hmm.
those types of items, as well as, when you start to look at your olive oils, those things. I know I use typically buy Napa Valley olive oil when I can, and but the area that I typically ordered the oil from, they were caught in the fire, so
Oh.
so they got wiped out. And so to buy that same bottle of olive oil is went to like $50 for one bottle of olive oil. And I said, Bertoli, where are you? When I need you. I'm going to have to try something else. So, ladies, another thing is to think about, don't I call myself sometimes a snob because
Mm-hmm.
there's certain things you like. And all of us have our preferences. But you know what? When it comes to your purse and it comes to putting food on on your table for your family, get what you need and get it at the best price that you can. Um, One more thing. Inflation.
Inflation.
Oh my goodness. And it's getting ready to take another hit. And so I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. I keep thinking, okay, we'll be fine. We can survive. We'll cut back here, cut back there, tighten this up. And and certainly for those of us who have been around a while, we have had to do that a
Hmm.
few times. And but for those who are young, you may not know how to tighten.
You know what, Leona? One of the things that I was thinking, I didn't mention this to you when we were talking earlier,
Mhm,
but I've been watching a lot of videos about depression era meals and
mhm,
meals that grandma used to make to survive the Great Depression.
mhm.
We might need to pull out one of those depression era cookbooks. You can get them from the it's not the Smithsonian, it's that other big library online.
Uh-huh.
And you can like look at the cookbooks online and find some of
Mhm.
those recipes. I might consider doing that because
Yeah,
they figured out how to make ends meet in those old days.
absolutely. Absolutely. I looked at a few of those a while back, and another time that we had several years ago when things had gotten a little shaky with our budgets and our food prices. And, some of those depression area recipes, I mean, they were down to maybe three items that they would use in a particular meal. And so I I suggest that if you haven't stocked your pantry, I can't say this. I know Miss Denise says it all the time, and I'm saying it too. We've got to try our best to increase what we have in our pantries. And
Mhm.
I'm serious, guys. If it means that you need to put a box somewhere and you're just sticking whatever you need in that box until you need it, then that is what we need to do. And it took me back when I went home to see my buddy who really was my sage on the stage when I was a young home cook and just a real newlywed, total newlywed. And she has always had what I call her own grocery store. And I don't know, sometimes there are people who just somehow or another they just seem to understand there are certain things you need to always keep available, and that's something that we have to look at as well, is making sure that we have the food that we need, and then we have to make sure that we cook what we have,
Yes.
rotate it out, because just to have a nice, pantry, it's great. But if it's not a usable pantry, then that doesn't do you any good. Make sure that the things that are in your pantry are things that your family likes and that you're going to cook. Hazel's saying, great advice to stock up during the holidays and other times of the season. And she said she has to be more of aware of that, especially now. You're absolutely right, Hazel.
Exactly. And that's why I like Cassandra so much because every
Mhm.
month she'll say, okay, this is what's in season. And so then you know what you can stock up in your area. So when cabbage was 79 cents a pound, I picked up a couple extra heads of cabbage. And did you know you can freeze cabbage?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know that. I just happened to was watching somebody and she was showing how to keep freeze cabbage. And I'm like, you can freeze cabbage. But you
Mhm,
know, I think as you said, we have to be intentional about
mhm.
building our pantries. And when I say build our pantries, some of those are little things that you may take for granted, but you got to make sure you've got the spices, salt, pepper,
Mhm,
cinnamon, nutmeg, garlic powder,
mhm.
onion powder, all of those kinds of things so that you can zhuzh up your food in whatever way, in addition to condiments like barbecue
Oh
sauce,
yeah.
mustard, and ketchup,
Oh yeah.
chili sauce, as well as onions and carrots and potatoes and celery. Those are basic things. Oh, and flour and sugar.
Oh yeah.
Those are basic things that every home needs to have. And you may
Absolutely.
be thinking, what am I going to do with some flour? What am I going to do with baking powder and baking soda? Well, baby girl, you're going to learn to make some things with them. And
That's
Miss
right.
Leona has got some videos to show you how to make biscuits, how to make a pie
Mhm,
crust, how to
mhm.
make almost anything you can think of. She's got a video to show you step by
How to
step
do
how to make it.
it. Absolutely. And also keep in mind, and then we'll talk about Bashua, but also, think about
Mhm.
your washing powder, your dishwashing powder,
Mhm.
all of those things are things that you use. And when you can find them on sale, get an extra. So if
Yeah.
you're picking it up, get an extra so that you can start to build. I know I used my last bottle of dishwashing liquid the other day, and that was from COVID because during COVID, I picked up each time I ordered, I picked up two. And so that has gotten me through to this point. And so as you're accumulating, you don't want to go in and think, oh my God, we're not going to have any toilet paper and buy all the toilet paper in the world.
Mm-mm.
Number one, it's a storage issue.
Yeah.
Number two, it does dry rot. And so, as you're thinking about those things, we do want to make sure that we're conscious of the fact that, yes, we want a little extra, but we don't want to overdo it because we all need it
Yes.
and want to have it available. But Shua was saying that she was at BJ's this past weekend and she purchased some lamb and beef. No problem. She looked at the chicken and the breast looked too big. And she said she's going to have to question what they put in them. And, that is certainly something that I think has been really, Beshua has been going on for a very long time. Is that you'll notice that as you look at organic chickens, they're much smaller. But
Mhm.
then when you look at the regular production, regular chickens that you may have that are available, they are a little larger. And so I it's something. But when it comes down to if this is the only chicken that we have, then
Mhm. This
that's
is
what
what
I'm
we
gonna
get
buy.
to.
That's what we get.
I had to run into Kroger today. I went to two different stores today. I had to go to Kroger
Mhm,
to pick up some meds. And I
mhm,
knew that Kroger was having chicken on sale. Buy
mhm,
one, get one free.
mhm,
So I wanted to go in there after I picked up my meds. And I thought, well, since I'm in here, I will take a look to see what's on sale back on the meat counter. Because
mhm,
that's one of the ways that I save money is I make a
mhm,
beeline to the meat department, to the manager special and see what's on sale first. And if there's
mhm,
something there that I can use, I don't just buy it because it's on sale.
mhm.
If I need to fill in a gap or something that I would typically buy, I'll pick that up and I can save anywhere from $1 to $3 that way.
Mhm.
And then I picked up some fish. My husband likes fish. You guys know that. And I bought some perch. And
Mhm.
they had wild caught perch on sale for $5.99 a pound.
Hmm.
Typically $7.99 a pound. So
Mhm.
with $2 off, I picked up a set of fillets for that. And so we
Mhm.
can get like maybe 2 meals out of that.
Mhm.
But you just have to kind of check for those kinds of things. And I got those 6 fillets, but they're going in the freezer
Oh
because
yeah.
he got fish in the freezer from when he was fishing during last year to fill up the freezer for winter. So he needs to get that rotated through before he
Mhm.
starts using the stuff that I'm getting in now.
That's true. That's true. Another thing too, with those manager specials, I know my manager at my store. I
Uh-huh.
made it a point to have a conversation so that when I go in, oh, well, hello, Mr. So and so. Good morning. How are you? Or good afternoon, or whatever it may be. And now he even knows my name.
Mhm.
So, because of that, I have no problem with going in and say, you know what? I noticed that you have the manager special. What time do you put the meat out? Are you talk to the butcher back there in the back and ask him, what time do you all normally put that out? And that's the time you want to make sure that you try to hit the grocery store if at all possible, and to try to get the best selection. Because what I noticed is that there were some ladies. Evidently, they knew what time he put the meat out, and they were hovering. And when he brought that big cart out, it was like they were on him. And it was like, oh my goodness. But the thing of it is that these were all seniors. And I noticed Ola said that she's a single empty nester. And she said she's real frugal now. And yes, as we for those of us who are retired, for those of us who are having a few job issues along the way, frugality is certainly going to be a
Definitely.
part of that.
Definitely.
Now, so for those of you who are with us, Denise and I are always encouraging you to be proactive about what you're doing. We want to make sure that we try to identify the problems that we see coming towards you. We try to adopt a reasonable plan of action, and then we suggest that you work the plan, because guys, if you don't work that plan, then
We'll get a good to make it.
it just won't work. Now, but here's the good news, and that's where we really want to be happy about, is that yes, we're going through tough times, but number one, we don't have to do it alone.
No.
We are working together. Now, we can navigate this shopping situation, whether it's at the grocery store, whether it's picking up clothes for the kids. I've noticed that, for instance, I went in Kohl's to find something for my granddaughter for her birthday, and Kohl's had tons of sales. And so rather than going where I would normally go, I went to those sales rack. And I mean, I picked through those sales rack until I found something that I liked. And so we have to reevaluate what we're shopping for. We have to reevaluate our budgets.
Mm-hmm.
It may be that, especially if your job situation has changed,
Yes.
that you certainly will have to evaluate your budget and try to look at those things that are most important. And of course, I don't know about you, but I know I used to be a weekly shopper. Well, I don't do that anymore. I cut back on that. And so sometimes we have to change our shopping habits.
Well, when you say that, you are so right, because when you go every week, while you're there, you have certain things you have to pick up. And then you'll think, oh, I just might need this or that, or let me just check to see what's over here. So changing those shopping habits, like you said, to go in either every 2 weeks or once a month, or ordering those groceries.
Yep. And I love ordering and being able to just go and pick it up. Or, sometimes I'll actually go in the store, but I find out I spend far less when I don't go in the store, because I'm not seeing all those fun things along the way. Beth Shua is mentioning a few things. She said that pasta always makes for a good frugal meal. And that's something to keep in mind, because we are looking for those meals that are going to be easier on the pocketbook. Ola is saying that many are going to suffer, like children and the elderly. You are absolutely right.
When you say that, Leona, I remember when I was a young housewife,
Mm-hmm.
I was at the grocery store. It was called Marsh at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this elderly couple standing over by the meat counter, and they were having an intense discussion. And in my mind, I couldn't hear what they were saying. But from my perspective, it looked to me like they were trying to decide if they could afford to buy this roast. And the roast looked like it was about that big.
Mm-hmm.
And at this particular time, there was a scandal of older adults eating cat food.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, then and there, I thought, when I get old, and I'm there, but I thought, when I get old, I'm going to have food on my table and heat in my house. I thought, if we don't have nothing else, we're going to have food and we're going to have heat. And it's definitely something you have to think about. So I think the comments you made about stocking your pantry is helpful, because that hedges you against hard times. It helps you to be able to prepare things. And like Bathsheba said, pasta is one of the things that you can use to stretch a meal. And then Dee is saying a bag of potatoes. Her mom made many meals with that. So did mine.
Mine too.
I remember my mom said, when you get home from school, and this is when I was in high school, when you get home from school, put on potatoes, because we knew we were having potatoes every day.
Well, in your area and Kentucky too, it was all about the potatoes. When you go further south, it's all about the rice. Rice is served at every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and in some way or another. And of course, Midwest is more potatoes.
Yes.
But certainly, those are certainly ways to stretch your meal. And guys, if you don't know how to make some good gravy, you need to check out Miss Denise, because she's got it down to a science.
Well, you
And
know what? So that's one of the things that, like, you would ask me to think about how to go about problem solving. Now, how did I go about problem solving on my homemaking journey? So I took some time to think about that. And one of the things that you and I both talk about is meal planning.
Mhm.
You have to plan your meals. And I saw Tim had said somewhere in there that when she went shopping today, she used our capsule grocery haul to buy
Mhm.
the groceries, because on our capsule grocery haul, whatever you buy, you got something that you can make a meal with, because it'll all work together. You can make a meal out of it. So, but meal planning is one of the big things that I did, and I know you do the same thing.
Mhm.
The other thing that I am learning to do is make substitutions. I was going to make a recipe last week, and it called for sweet cream. And when I got to Aldi and saw the price of cream, I bought half and half. So it's like I'm learning to sub out something for that. And if I don't know offhand, like if I don't have any fresh ginger, what can I swap out for that? I
Mhm.
Google it. I'll get my phone up in a minute, sub fresh
Absolutely.
ginger, and it'll give you several different suggestions on what you can do. And as you said, gravy. Gravy is a great meal extender. Put that gravy on those potatoes,
Mhm.
instant gravy, gravy on dressing, but it certainly can help stretch a meal. And then soups and stews, pot pies, casseroles.
Oh,
Those are
yeah.
things that you can stretch with, as well as taco bowls. You know,
Mhm. Mhm.
I like tacos, and you can eat 2 or 3 tacos and get full. But if you have a taco bowl and you got rice on the bottom, and then you start layering that stuff, you know, you're going to get pretty full. So making taco bowls was another way. And one of the things I've been doing lately is having takeout at home. Like, I love Panda Express, but it's not close to our home. And
Uh-huh.
now I loaned my car to a family member. So if I want to go out there, my husband has to take me. And he didn't always feel like driving out there.
Mhm.
I made this chicken Thai peanut noodles or something like that. But
Mhm.
it was like some kind of a peanut flavored noodles. You put peanut butter in it and that kind of thing. Girl, you just swore you was at Panda Express.
Ooh-wee.
I didn't have those special noodles that they have, but I used spaghetti and it came out just as good.
Wow.
Doing dupes, like for KFC dupes. I found the
Mhm.
KFC chicken pot pie recipe online,
Mhm.
but different things like that. And then the other thing I want to encourage our homemakers to take advantage of is free food. Now,
Yeah.
they may not think about that, but if they need to go to a food bank or something like that, take advantage of that. But
Mhm.
sometimes you might hear someone at work say, you know what, I got this bushel of apples and I don't know what to do with them. I can use them. And then probably my biggest thing is my Kroger Plus card, because I
Mhm.
can get coupons that you get the deals on my Kroger Plus card, and then they'll give you extra digital coupons, which I have learned how to use now.
Yay.
Like when I made raspberry jam last week,
Mhm.
raspberries were like $3.99 for those little 6-ounce cartons.
Mhm.
But on the digital coupon, you could get them for $1.88, and I got 5.
Woo.
You could use it like for 4 different times.
Mhm.
So, and most of your stores, Food Lion, Publix, they're
Mhm.
going to have some kind of a shopper's card there too.
Yeah.
So those are ways that I use to save money on my grocery bill. And I'll be quiet now. I'm sorry.
Well, that's all right. I mean, that's what it's all about. And something that you mentioned was certainly a part of our good news. First of all, is to plan ahead. I start planning for the next week almost as soon as I buy for, say, this week. I'm already planning for next week. And also, as I'm cooking, I'm trying to make sure that I prepare enough. Now, of course, it's just a big guy now most of the time. And
Mhm.
so as I prepare, I'm making sure that I divide it in such a way that I have a meal for tonight and then I have a meal for another night. Now, I may not bring it back this week, but certainly next week it may show up, or the week after, because
And to do that, make
Mhm.
sure they know you got the proper containers to put it in.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love my Snapware, and And we also use, what are our little oh, what are they? The little square containers, you got them too. That
Oh,
we
the
use.
Rubbermaid Brilliance.
Yes, the brilliance. I know Denise uses brilliance, and I'm a Snapware girl. But the thing of it is that, and also don't forget, we're also vacuum sealing
Yes.
a lot of the products that we have. And so, each of us have storefronts. We've got places where you can go and to look and to see the types of things that we're using. But it is important. I know it was funny. The big guy went out to the freezer the other day and he said, "Oh my goodness, Leona, there was nowhere to put anything." And he said, he said, "I can't fuss because at least it's all organized." And I told him, I said, "Yeah." So he was sharing with the ladies at church the other day. He said, "Well, if you all need something to eat, just come over to our house."
Oh, no.
And I'm going, "No, no." But I understood what he was saying. It was some of our seniors, and certainly I don't mind sharing. But the reality of it is that we do want to be able to have extra so that should we need it or someone else needs it, it's very easy for us to go get something out. It's not like we have to stop and to cook it from scratch. It's ready to go. And
Well,
so,
not only that, think about those rotisserie chickens because it's just
oh,
him and
oh,
I here too. So,
oh,
like if I cook the whole rotisserie chicken for one dinner,
mhm,
usually I'm going to have a half to three quarters of it that I'm going to put in the freezer for another meal, or I'm
mhm.
going to make chicken and dumplings, or I'm going to make a chicken pot pie or something else. And the chicken and dumplings and the chicken pot pie, those serve from 4 to 6 people.
That's right. That's
So
right.
think about, and I'm glad you mentioned the vacuum sealer
Mhm,
because you buy that family size pack of chicken breast.
mhm,
When
mhm,
you get home, you slice it up, proportion it out the way you need it
mhm.
for your family, and then vacuum seal it and get it in your freezer so it doesn't go to waste. And
That's
you
right.
save money today getting that chicken for $2.99 a pound compared
Mhm.
to next week when it's back up to $3.99 or $4.49.
You are absolutely right. And to keep in mind too is that you want to buy the family pack. Now it's just two of us, but when I purchase thighs or chicken breast or whatever it may be, I'm going to buy the family pack, and then I can break it down into the portions that I need.
Because
And
it's going to be cheaper per pound.
absolutely. And two, you'll find that a breast, once you've chopped it up, it can be stretched. So even if you have a larger family, you may only need two breasts. When
Mhm.
when at the end of the day, you may not need a breast for each person, or you can divide those breasts. So those are ways that you can help to stretch that meal. Now, Hazel just happened to mention we were talking about, the hurricane seasons and the extreme weathers, and she said she's already started her hurricane prep, and she tries to get something every time she shops.
Mhm.
And that is a great way to do it, because then you're not quite at the last minute having to spend a lot of money for whatever it is. JC said that red and green cabbages are always in her fridge along with mirepoix vegetables and potatoes. And she said she used to buy 20 pounds of potatoes when she was a kid, and she said she ate a lot of them in
Me
a lot
too.
of different ways. Yes, we did too. And it's amazing. It's funny. The kids, even now, my children talk about the fact they said, "Oh, mom had potatoes this way, you had potatoes that way, you had potatoes this way." But you know what? They weren't hungry.
Burn hungry.
That's it. Now, LM, you'll have to let us know your name. Her area of North Dakota, the eggs are $4.50 to $6. Well, that's high, but not extreme. But
Yeah.
she said the breasts are on sale this week for $3.99. And I think the chicken breast here were on sale for $3.99 as well.
Right now, Kroger has this week, because today is
Mhm,
Wednesday, so they just started a new campaign.
mhm.
Chicken, the Tyson chicken is buy one, get one.
Get one.
So if
Mhm,
you buy a pack of chicken breasts, chicken thighs, chicken wings for $10, you
mhm,
get one for free
mhm.
for $10 or less. Now, if you just buy one pack, you don't get it for $5. You have to buy one and get one. but because otherwise you're gonna be charged the whole price for it. But that really reduces the price of that chicken. So when you hear about sales like that, and I'm letting you guys know right now, Kroger's has them on sale.
Yeah,
Tyson, buy one, get one. Now's the time to get out there and pick up a couple of packs for your freezer.
absolutely. And guys, meatless meals.
Mhm.
All us talking about that, that's a great way to save, and it certainly is.
Yes.
And, with our going into the growing season, this is a great time to start doing those meatless meals. And also a good time that you can start as you go to your farmer's market, start to preserve some of the food that you get. And I know I've been trying to do at least two meatless meals per week.
Mhm.
And because the big guy really does like the protein, but so I compromise. So I have 2 to 3 meatless meals, and the rest he can have whatever he
Try
wants.
to do at least one, and he'll eat that.
Hmm.
And in the days that he wants fish, then I'll just find something in the fridge that I've already cooked to have. But he'll eat a meatless meal if that's what I prepare. And a good way to do a meatless meal is a taco rice bowl
Oh
or
yeah.
bean soup.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We had a green split pea soup. Oh my goodness, it was so
You
good.
just had that the other day.
It was delicious, absolutely delicious. And now I threw. You notice I threw the turkey necks in, and
Mhm.
those were turkey necks left over from Christmas, and so it was like, there you go. We usually don't have anything unless you're just going to throw it into some gravy. Now, Bathsheba was saying that for this year's garden, she plans to grow potatoes and sweet potatoes as survival crops. And she just used the last of her homegrown garlic. So she said she's going to have to wait a few months in order to have more of that. That's a great way to do it. And I know uh, Miss Denise does a lot of herbs. And
Since you bring that up, I'll just jump in right there.
go right ahead.
So one of the things that we try to encourage our young home cooks and homemakers to do is to at least plant a kitchen garden. So when
Mhm.
I say a kitchen garden, it doesn't have to be real big, but just those few things that you can either put in containers or wherever you've got. If you live in an apartment, you got a little patio, you can put them on the deck or whatever.
Mhm.
But plant your herbs that you use. I use a lot of parsley, oregano, thyme, and those are the three big ones that I use. So I
Mhm.
always, and basil, I always plant those. And
Mhm.
I've got basil in the freezer right now. So I didn't buy any today when I went to the store for this recipe. But I'll plant those. And then when they grow, I will dry them and I'll put them in a jar and put them in the pantry. So I have them for that. So I don't buy thyme and parsley and that at the grocery store.
Mhm.
Saves money. The other thing that I will plant is tomatoes and bell peppers
Mhm.
and eggplant. Now you can plant a whole lot of other stuff. I planted carrots one year and I planted those little short ones and they did okay. But some of those other things that I tried, especially the potatoes, did not
Mhm.
work well. I had some little flathead cabbages that turned out okay.
Mhm.
Collards and kale, they turned out okay.
Mhm.
But I just have a little simple garden and then flowers in there as well. Some people, like Cassandra and becoming a farm girl, her garden is amazing. But you can
Mhm.
begin to plant little things, even if it's just herbs in containers, and you
Mhm.
can begin saving money there. So you can consider that. And the other thing that I was going to say, and it just, oh, chicken broth, make your own broth.
Mhm.
When I used a lot of carrots. When they mentioned the mirepoix earlier, carrots, onions, and celery, in case somebody didn't
Mhm.
know what mirepoix was, it's like a trilogy of vegetables, carrots, onion,
Mhm.
and celery that you use to cook with. So I will save the peelings off of the carrots, the onions, and the celery, put it in a freezer bag, put it in the freezer. When I get ready to make chicken broth, I use that. And so I'm making broth for pennies on the dollar,
Absolutely.
saving money that way as well.
And too, they also, I hope you're keeping in mind that if you start to see some of your fresh vegetables going south, and they're not as perfect as what you'd like for them to be. That's a great time to chop it up, add it to a soup, add it to some broth that you're trying to make, and are there's just so many things that you can do with it. But what I suggest is that when you bring your fresh vegetables home, prep it.
Mm-hmm.
Onions, I prep my onions, I get them into their containers, and they're frozen. They go straight to the freezer. And then that way, when it's time for me to cook, I can pop them out and we're ready to go. And especially now that it's starting to warm up, my garage is not as cool as it usually is. And so because of that, the onions aren't going to last as long out there in the garage as they normally would. So I try to make sure that I prep them. I noticed that Anne was saying, she was asking a question about buying frozen orange juice that you just add the water to. She said she thinks it's usually cheaper, and then you are using the plastic container and it's better for the environment. Now, I used to use the frozen orange juice, and I'm not against using frozen orange juice. And typically I'm using whatever I can find on sale. So certainly if I start to find that the frozen orange juice is going to be more reasonable, then that may be the option that I take. And plus too, the nice thing about the frozen orange juice is that it gives you additional products that's in your extended pantry.
Yes.
So if you have that freezer, you can put that orange juice in there, your orange juice. Now they even have lemon juice as well as lemonade and some of those things that you can put into your freezer and have ready to go. And they're pretty reasonable. I can't remember. Oh, Ola had mentioned the fact that beans are a good stretcher.
Mhm.
And I know you talked about that with the tacos of being able to use your black beans and so
Corn.
and your corn, the garbanzo beans, your lentils, your split peas. I add them a lot. And
Mhm.
even sometimes when I'll have a can of green beans and I'll either throw in some corn or I'll throw in some pinto beans and cook them together, and it stretches the green beans that you have. So, and also gives you more nutrition. And sometimes the pinto beans are actually posing as the protein.
Yes.
So that gives you the nutrition that you have. So keep that in mind as well.
Let me just also, excuse me, bring out to these young moms, teach your children to eat vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about, well, my kids are picky eater. They're a picky eater because you allow them to be. So teach your children to eat vegetables. So when they're toddlers, when they're still eating finger foods, give them a plate of peas and let them pick them up and eat them. And they'll eat them because they're naturally sweet.
Mm-hmm.
They'll pick up a green bean and they'll eat it. And they'll eat even carrots raw, or if you just tenderize them just a teeny bit because the sweetness is there, and they'll eat those. So teach them to eat those kinds of things. So when they're older and you need to extend a meal, they'll be used to them. So
That's true. Bashir was saying that sometimes she'll cook a batch of something and then she just freezes it. And that way she has an instant meal. And that's a great idea, especially for our new cooks, because of the fact that most of them are working. They're working moms and are working dads, whichever the case may be. And so when you need something that, say you're having to go to a soccer game and you've got to come back, track's getting ready to hit the season and the kids are getting outside, that's a great way to be able to come home and have dinner ready. Freezer meals are great things to be able to also have available as well. Um,
Terry is saying with Easter approaching, she wonder what eggs will cost. They're not going to
oh,
go down.
oh, they're not going to go down. So
Going down.
unfortunately, you just at that point, because it's the holiday, you'll have to make a decision,
Mhm.
whether or not you're going to dye the Easter eggs. Now, we use ours because we like egg salad, but is egg salad something that we have often? No, and especially not now because of the price of eggs. But if we had children here, then we'd probably dye one
Mhm.
dozen of eggs
Mhm.
and just because. Um,
And then if you do dye those eggs, then maybe you'll end up after Easter making some deviled eggs or making a egg salad or some kind of a salad that you cut the eggs up and put them in so that you do actually eat them. You don't let them spoil.
oh yeah, I like eggs in my tuna,
Mhm.
and let's see, I saw something else. Oh, Ola says she had a blessing a little bit ago. A client of hers was ill and ordered meal kits, but made a mistake and gave her 5 meals instead of two. And she said it was a blessing. She accepted it in that heartbeat. So, sometimes it's meant for you at that particular time. So that was certainly a blessing.
Mhm.
Um, keep waste. Miss Denise brought up a real good point of being able to use your onion skins, the ends of your tomatoes, the ends um, of your what do you have, carrots and celery. Those are things that you can use in your broths. And then use those broths in your gravies or in your soups or whatever it is that what you're doing. You want to make sure that you're trying to minimize as much food waste as possible.
Mhm.
And that's going to help us save money.
Yeah.
Plus, it's also going to help us with the environment. And here's the biggie, we're putting these pantries together. And ladies, I'm talking to myself. So when I point to you, I got those other fingers pointing back at myself. The fact of the matter is that we absolutely have to check the expiration dates.
Mhm.
Now, typically the best use date that are on most products will extend out a while. Canned goods have a wonderful expiration time period beyond what you see on the cans. But box products like cereals and cake mix and those kind, their expiration beyond that best use date is not as long.
Mhm.
So my suggestion is for you to go to, if you type in it's a food and drug. I'll look it up and I'll put it down in the description box. But there is a place where you can go and you can look at the particular product that it is. Like if you have a can of tomatoes, there is a particular time period that you can extend beyond that. And so that's nice to know because I used to see people throwing things out and I'm going, but wait. You had another 2 years on that and you didn't know. So now meats and those kind of things we have to be very careful with.
Yes.
And but our canned goods, box products, those kind of things, we typically have a good time period. um Ola saying her daughter, she's newly married, Navy wife, and she's soon to be 21. Oh, to be 21 again, Denise.
Yes.
Wow.
I
She
thought
said
I knew everything and didn't know nothing.
absolutely, girl. I was working it. And she said she's so proud of her frugality. She has learned from her single mama. And you look and it's something for those of you who are young moms, you know, don't blow off mom because mom can share some information with you. We've got Tommy Bites Homestead with us tonight. Good to see you. Glad to have you here. Bashua said she tried to grow celery and onions, and she said they were a little difficult for her. And the carrots were much easier to grow. But she said she's going to try again with celery and onions. I know we had broccoli out of the wazoo, and cabbage was a great product to be able to grow. So I'm looking forward to trying their garden again. So fresh vegetables that are about to expire for her goes into the compost. And that's something to keep in mind because you do want to be able to compost your products along the way. Of course, we want to eat them first if we can. Covington Creek at home. Hello. She says she saves the juice from her canned fruit and freezes it in 2 tablespoon sizes. Huh. And she said one or two go into water to create a flavored water.
Wow.
How about that?
That's a
Oh,
great
that's a great idea. Great idea. Luann says that celery needs a lot of sun. She says, so she puts garlic around her celery. And she said, of course, onions are good to root them first and then plant them. So, and good to root the garlic as well. So that's something to keep in mind for those of you who are getting ready to start your gardens. I like dehydrating as
idea.
much as I can. Now, typically, some of the vegetables I will purchase at the farmer's market and then bring it home and dehydrate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, alternative sources. Start to look for, because now I notice that the sign in our neighborhood's gone up, and beginning next to the right after Easter, the farmers market will start. And
Mm-hmm.
so we want to support our farmers as much as possible.
Yes.
We want to be able to, if we can get involved in a community supported agricultural program where you get a box every month of products, that helps the farmer as well as helps to save you. You will have the vegetables that are in season. And just keep in mind, what you get, you cook with,
Yeah.
because that's important. And
Mm-hmm.
also take advantage of the bulk clubs if you can, with Costco and Sam's or whatever. And if you have a way of being able to share some of the extras that you have with someone who may not have much, we
Yes.
certainly encourage you to do that. Now, we know Rome wasn't built in a day. We can't, we're trying our best to do as much as we can and to share as much. And you see, tonight we've got wisdom warriors who are out here who are giving and sharing a ton of information. And some things we can control, but some things we can't. And
Yeah.
we're going to have to wait and have to figure out how to navigate around it.
Yeah.
But remember, you're not in this boat alone. We're all in here together.
Now,
Now,
I see a comment from Bathsheba. Can you get her the very last word? Have we seen a
oh. Have you seen Love with Megan on Netflix? I started it and I haven't finished it. I'll
I
have
see
to let you know. Have you watched it?
I watched the whole series. I would watch like 2 episodes a night. I finished
Mhm.
the whole series and I absolutely love it. Now, she is the Duchess, so I mean she's got a economic lifestyle that I can't
Mhm.
quite grasp. However,
Mhm.
there's quite a few things on there that she does that we can do and that I observed my grandmother's doing. Like she's making jam. She made raspberry jam, and I was inspired. That's the week that I had that I was sick. I
Mhm.
took my husband to this Kroger and used that coupon and bought those 5 cartons of raspberries. And the next day, I made raspberry jam. I think I videoed it, but I can't remember. But that inspired me to do that.
Mhm.
The last video that I uploaded was that I had refreshed my kitchen
Mhm.
a little bit,
Mhm.
inspired by how she uses her cutting boards. So
Mhm.
there's things that she does. She's at the farmer's market one day. She's making pasta for her family. It's like she's cooking and entertaining. And it's things that are encouraging us women to have joy and to have fun in the kitchen. And I love it. I absolutely love it.
Well, I'm going to have to check that out. I'm going to have to check. I'm off my regular television viewing time because I tell you what, when you're away from home and you're trying to come back in, it just takes a minute to get everything going. But I will check out With Love, Megan, because it sounds like it's going to be a great show to watch. And Bathsheba, you're right. That is a CSA. And we have a program here with one of our farmers markets. Is that you just pick up your box? You just come to the farmers market. You've already paid for the box. You pick up your box, got your name on it, and you go on home. And so we have, I know Miss Denise dehydrates. I like to dehydrate. I've dehydrated oranges and lemons. I haven't been
I'm
able
gonna
to
try some
find,
oranges.
huh?
I'm gonna try some oranges because I saw her do it.
Yes, yes. She said, I love blood oranges and they are fun to cook with. Navel oranges, of course, are great, and limes, of course, for her dehydrator. Well, what I've been doing is that my daughter bought a dehydrator, so we're going to share it back and forth.
I
And
like
I think it'll probably end up staying more here because she'll bring her stuff over here and end up working it here. But that's okay.
for just 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about the farm to table. I think
Mm-hmm.
at your church where you pick up a box you've already paid for.
Mm-hmm.
In our area, we have a community harvest food bank, which is part of Feeding America.
Mm-hmm.
And I've taken one of my friends there a couple of times. Actually, the friend that I did the $30 video about.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to take my students to this same food bank, and we would volunteer for an afternoon in the food bank so they could look at what food insecurity looks like and what resources are available in the community to help. So the last time I was there, I was asking the guy at the desk, I said, how many people are you guys serving now? And
Mm-hmm.
he said, last Saturday, this was before Thanksgiving, he said the last Saturday, he said they served 1,500 families.
Whoa.
It's going to be even more next week because of
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
I was there recently with my friend, and he said they lost some of their funding, some of their grants, but they're
Mm-hmm.
still working it out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was busier than I've seen it in a long time. So
Mm-hmm.
let me encourage our homemakers. That's another source of free food. Now, on the weekend, on Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to sign up. You just have to drive up, and you drive up. They'll put a box of food in your car. The only thing they ask is that you bring your box back the next week so they can refill it, and then you drive off.
Mm-hmm.
And they usually will give you potatoes, onions, celery, carrots, and some other things. But it's like a box and a bag of food, stuff that
Mm-hmm.
you can definitely use.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be too proud to take advantage of that. And
Mm-hmm.
when we take my friend, my husband drives.
Mm-hmm.
So when we drive up, it's kind of like going to Disney. You know how they have all
Mm-hmm.
the
All the
stalls,
lanes. Uh-huh.
all these lanes, and everybody's in a lane. And then behind you, there's going to be 4 or 5 or 6 cars behind you, and they'll have one lane go up at a time. You drive up, they put the food in your car, you drive off. People are hurting out there. I'm telling you, people
Yes.
are struggling. So if you need this resource, if there's something similar in your community, take advantage of it. Your parents and yourself have paid taxes for years. Now
That's
it's
right.
time to reclaim some of those taxes.
That's right. That's absolutely right. We have that same thing, Denise, here. And every Friday, and it starts at 4 in the afternoon. And from 4 to 7, they can line up. They can, well, they're not lined up, but they're in their cars and
In the
they can
car.
drive up.
Mm-hmm.
And the first couple of times that Conway and I worked, because we go as volunteers and go over there to help do the what they call the preparing of the boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And the first couple of times that we went, I tell you what, it takes your breath.
You could go home and cry.
Yes, yes, to see how many people are
Mm-hmm.
coming through. And so I certainly say to all of you, and farmers are so good because what farmers have done is that they donate a portion of their crop to these locations. So they were getting fresh greens, fresh cabbage, fresh potatoes, not just the bag stuff that's been manufactured and brought to the store, but they're getting a lot of fresh food. So whatever is available, they had meat. They had all kinds of things that they were receiving those days. I know that I was there. And so as we think about those things, those are opportunities. So if you know of anyone, because sometimes what happens is that the services are available, but
People
If
don't
you don't know about it,
know.
then you can't take advantage of it.
And that's one way you can help too. Like if you know about these resources, you can help by providing a ride to the food.
Mhm,
So that's
mhm,
how we help her when she wants to go. We drive her over there. And I remember one year, there's a church called St. Mary's Mother of God Church, and they were giving away free turkeys. And she needed me to take her. I did not want to go over there to that church because I don't want anybody to see me out here in this line getting a free turkey. And when we got there were so many people there. And I thought, you better get a grip. People could care less who you think you are. They
mhm.
are here because they are in need of something. They could
That's
care
right.
less. And I was just like, just get over yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And something that one of the people, we were at Bethel today serving, and one of the gentleman that was there, he said, ma'am, he said, I do have a job. He said, but my job does not cover my bills. And he said, so I pay the bills. I have a place to stay. He said, but I need food.
Yes.
And so he goes on Saturday to a particular location. He had it down. He had a certain location. He goes here and gets this. He comes on Wednesday and gets a meal. And so he has been able to work it out. But everybody who comes to a place to eat, they aren't necessarily homeless. A lot of those people have jobs and they
But
just
they need
don't
to
have
eat.
enough.
They don't have enough. That's what I learned when I did that $30 grocery challenge because so many people commented about it and they said they have more month left over at the end of the money.
Hmm.
And they're right, and one of the viewers said, well, I'd like to see you try to really live off of that $30 because when I saw how tight it was going to be, I was like,
Hmm.
okay, I'm going to have to pull some things from my pantry to
Yep.
make these meals work. And this one person said, no, we want to see you just live off the $30. And I said, I'm not crazy. I'm not trying to make myself unhealthy because those low tight budgets are not sustainable and they're not healthy.
Yeah.
They're not healthy. So if you can help someone, by all means do that. And even if it's nothing else other than, you know what, I was at Kroger today and I had to pick up some onions and carrots. So I just picked up a couple extra things for you and just share it that way.
Well, it's a good thing you said that because JC said today that she gladly accepted, I think JC is a she, but I'm not sure, that JC accepted some items from her daughter who had gone to Costco. She had some Cara oranges, some avocados, a can of peanuts, and some toilet paper and paper towels. And she said it was
Ooh.
such a blessing for her. And so those things that you were able to receive, then those are things you won't have to buy.
Mm-hmm.
And so that certainly helps you to extend your budget a little further. My Blessed Nest, Dee's sharing with her that it's a phone app. There's a phone app that shows the locations in grocery stores that offer specials or clearance products in the refrigerator or on the shelf.
Really?
And you can pay and then pick it up. She says a great deal. And so that's something to think about. We've got a lot of volunteers here. I love that. I love that. Anne said her daughter taught her the habit of when she has extra dinner left, she immediately packs it up as a lunch portion for the next
Yep.
day. Yep, that's what we do. And she says she always puts dinner away and then packs a lunch for the next day.
Well,
That is a great habit.
that's one of the things that I found out that really helps to extend your budget is that if I'm making chili, now, a pot of chili is going to serve 6 to 8 people, and it's just 2 of us here. I'm going to immediately pour some chili enough into one of my Rubbermaid Brilliance 4-cup things and put 2 of them in the freezer. Then that's enough for another meal or for a lunch. And we still have enough chili for dinner and lunch tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you have to do it immediately because if you leave it in the fridge and forget about it, you
Mm-hmm.
just let it go bad.
That's true. That's true. So, guys, we are certainly, we're gently sharing information because many of us who are out here, someone said in the chat that, we are at this point, we may have food. But who's to say what tomorrow is going to bring?
Yes.
And so we don't know. It could be someone in our family.
Mhm.
It could be someone we know. And we may need to not only feed ourselves, but someone else to help someone else out. And I hope that all of us are kind enough and have a heart enough to be able to do that. So, in lifting our spirits, because this has been a little heavy, we
Yeah.
want to think about the fact that, it is springtime. It's time for us to start to do a little self care here. We want to make sure that we're getting outside, the sun shining more. Make sure that you're taking the time that, don't stress all day over how much the budget is or how little it is or whatever it may be or what's in your refrigerator. Get outside and take advantage of the things that you can do outside. If you have little ones, do a little picnic. It can be peanut butter and jelly. They don't care. They just want to get outside. Go
Mhm.
for a walk. Do something fun. Plant a garden. And it doesn't have to be a big garden. It can be a pot that
Mhm.
you have decided to put some herbs in. I know that's how I grow mine. I grow them on the porch, in a pot. And so those are some of the things. We have to be flexible. And as we are flexible, we are able to get through each week. So we're taking care of April. May will have to take care of itself.
That's
And
right.
we'll work through May when the time comes. So, Denise, this has been so much
This
fun.
was fun.
Oh, and I so appreciate you being with me tonight and being with everybody and sharing with us because I know you got all the gunky stuff and with pollen falling, that doesn't help. I know I've had that. I'm dealing with that as well. So we are thankful to all of you who have joined us tonight in our chat. And certainly, this is my word to you. Please, please take a moment and share this video because there's someone out there who needs it. And I see that, Denise, did you see the message from LM that she was talking about the depression cooking with Clara? Try
I'll
depression
write that
cooking with
down.
Clara. She said it's a YouTube channel and there's a cookbook as well. So that's something to
Don't send me another cookbook to buy.
we have a thing about cookbooks, girls. So I hope that all of you have a blessed week. And I have Covington Creek. I know Denise has too, where we have
Oh
used
no. For the
super
super cute, I have not.
cute. I
It
love
was
it.
too expensive, and I just didn't want to buy it. I didn't want to jump for the price, so I used some Pyrex dishes with lids,
Mhm.
or I used my Rubbermaid Brilliance. But I've been thinking about those super cubes because you can just pop them right out. But I just felt like they were a little pricey.
They are a little pricey. They are a little pricey. And but I just figure we'll find something that we can use for now if we need, because right now we're trying to spend the money on the food,
Yes.
and we'll get cute later because I do love those super cubes and I have looked at them and they're in my to buy section
Mhm.
of Amazon, but I haven't hit the button. So thank you to all of you. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week. Enjoy. And next week, homemaking with Denise at 7:45. Be here because Denise is gonna bring it. It's gonna be good. So we'll see you then.
See you next week.
Good
Bye.
night.